Ever heard of a company like, I don't know, with no CEO, where decisions are made kind of like a digital democracy?
Yeah, like no bosses, just everyone like collectively deciding what to do. Investments, projects, the whole shebang. That's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
DAOs.
Decentralized Autonomous Organizations.
Exactly, DAOs. They're really getting people talking. You know, some folks think they're the future.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to try to cut through all the hype and really figure out how these things actually work.
Sounds good.
What makes people so excited about them? And let's be real. What are some of the challenges? Roadblocks, that kind of thing.
Definitely.
I got to say, full disclosure, when I first ran into this whole DAO thing, it all seemed, well, pretty out there, abstract. So to wrap our heads around this, let's imagine something concrete. Picture like a digital vault.
Okay.
This vault is packed with cryptocurrency.
Okay.
But here's the twist. It's controlled by a whole network of people.
Right.
And everyone in this network, they have a digital key. That's their token.
Interesting.
Think of it like, a modern-day pirate crew. Except instead of gold coins, it's digital treasure, and they're deciding what to do with it.
I like that. That's a good analogy. But what makes DAOs really different, what makes them revolutionary, isn't just about this shared ownership. It's how they actually operate. Imagine this digital vault, right? But it's running on autopilot.
Yeah.
And the autopilot, that's the smart contracts. They're like the rules of the vault.
Mm-hmm.
Except these rules, they're written in code. And they live on a blockchain, that ultra-secure digital ledger. So let's say the DAO needs to make a decision, like funding a new project or something.
Mm-hmm.
Members use their tokens to vote. If a majority says yes, boom, the smart contract executes the decision automatically. No lawyers, no board meetings. It just happens.
Wow, so there's no more, let's talk about it for 6 months kind of thing.
Nope.
But this is more than just theory, right? I mean, are there DAOs out there actually doing stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Decentralized finance, DeFi. Think of traditional finance, loans, interest rates, all that. But instead of banks in charge, it's a DAO.
Really?
Yep, and those smart contracts we talked about, they're managing tons of cryptocurrency, like serious amounts of digital money.
Hold on, so instead of going to a bank for a loan, you could go to a DeFi DAO.
Exactly. And here's the cool part. Everything's on the blockchain, so it's transparent. Need to check an interest rate. It's all right there in the code. No more hidden fees or backroom deals.
It's like flipping the script on traditional finance. That idea of cutting out the middleman, it feels huge.
It's potentially a massive shift, for sure. But DAOs aren't just about finance. They're popping up everywhere.
So it's like reinventing how we organize, right? Like ditching the old top-down pyramid thing.
Yeah, it's a different way of thinking about things, for sure.
But I'm curious about the decision-making in a DAO. Like, you can't vote on every little thing, right? Wouldn't that just be, like, total gridlock?
Right. DAOs need to find that sweet spot between, like, everyone having a say and actually getting things done. That's where on-chain and off-chain governance come in.
Okay, explain it to me like I'm still stuck trying to set up my first email account because I'm not quite following. What's with the on-chain, off-chain?
Sure. So on-chain governance, those are the big decisions, the ones that get etched in the blockchain forever.
Got it.
Like changing the DAO's rules, deciding how to use funds, or adding new members. That kind of stuff usually goes through on-chain voting using those smart contracts.
Ah, so it's like a permanent record, right? Totally transparent, no funny business.
Exactly. But then there's the day-to-day stuff.
Right, because you don't need a vote to send out a tweet.
Exactly. You can't have everyone voting on every little detail. That's where off-chain governance comes in. Imagine a DAO, right? And let's say they're building a new app. They might have smaller teams focused on different things like the actual coding, marketing, talking to users, that sort of thing.
Makes sense.
And these groups, they often have some leeway to make decisions on their own without needing a full-on on-chain vote for every single thing.
So it's more agile, right? Like how teams work within a company, but with the blockchain adding that extra layer of like accountability and transparency.
Precisely. And that's what's so cool about DAOs. They really make you rethink work and collaboration. It's not about the boss at the top anymore. It's more about individuals having ownership.
That's a big deal. Like, imagine a world where what you contribute, it's recognized by the system itself, not just your manager.
Yeah, it's a powerful idea. And it's already happening in some places. There are DAOs specifically for freelance writers, for instance. Instead of pitching to a magazine, they can submit their work straight to the DAO.
Wow.
And the DAO members, they vote on which articles get funded and published. So it's more direct,
Cutting out the middleman again. Love it. But okay, all this decentralization, it sounds amazing, but doesn't it get chaotic? Like, how do you keep things from going off the rails without someone in charge?
That's a real challenge for DAOs, no doubt. One of the big things is making sure members actually participate. It's not enough to just own some tokens.
Right.
You got to be involved. You got to understand the issues, join the discussions, and vote on proposals. Otherwise, things can get stagnant, people lose interest, and the DAO loses its way.
It's like in a democracy, right?
Yeah.
If no one votes, the system doesn't work so well.
Exactly. For a DAO to thrive, it needs an active community. But it goes beyond just voting, too. It's about building something together, a shared purpose, a place where everyone feels like they're part of something important.
So the human element, the community, it's as crucial as the tech itself, huh?
It's essential. It's about finding people who share your passion, your values, and want to create something new together. And that's where it gets really exciting, seeing how these communities develop and what makes them unique.
So it's more than just lines of code and blockchain then.
Oh, absolutely. It's about people.
It's like we're on the edge of something really new.
Oh, it does feel that way.
This whole tech meets community thing.
Yeah.
But like any big adventure, there got to be some risks, right?
Of course, there always are.
We talked about security, the legal stuff, still kind of fuzzy. And you brought up a really important point about accessibility. Like, how do we make sure DAOs aren't just for the techies or the folks with tons of cash?
It's a question we need to keep asking. Right now, honestly, getting into DAOs can feel like, I don't know, trying to decipher a foreign language.
Oh, tell me about it. I remember when I first started reading about blockchain, I was like, what is this? Am I reading code?
It can be pretty overwhelming, yeah. But the good news is more and more people are trying to make DAOs easier to understand. There are more resources popping up, platforms that are more user-friendly, and communities dedicated to helping newbies like you were.
That's what it's all about, right? Welcoming everyone to the party.
Exactly. The more people from different backgrounds, the better. And I'm not just talking tech people and investors. I mean, artists, activists, teachers, everyone. That's how we get really creative and build DAOs that represent a wider range of values.
So what's next? What does the future hold for DAOs? Are they here to stay, or is this just another tech fad?
That is the question, isn't it? Anyone who says they know for sure is probably trying to sell you something. But here's what I find exciting. DAOs make us rethink some pretty basic ideas about power, about how we make decisions, even about work itself. We talked about finance, about funding creative projects, but what about other fields? Musicians using DAOs to fund their albums instead of going through record companies.
That'd be cool.
Journalists banding together in DAOs to support investigative reporting, free from corporate influence.
It's like taking back control, right? Putting the power back where it belongs, with the creators, with the communities. Makes you wonder how this could shake things up for those big institutions. What happens if more and more people go for these decentralized ways of doing things? What about governments? Corporations, even nonprofits?
It's a big question. But maybe it's not about predicting the future. Maybe it's about creating it. The future of DAOs, it's not set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the people who are experimenting, building, taking risks.
And that's exciting to be part of that. But it takes all of us, right?
Absolutely.
Being engaged, asking questions, imagining new ways of doing things.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that just about wraps up our deep dive into the world of DAOs.
It's been quite a journey.
We covered a lot. The tech side, the big ideas, the challenges, all of it. But more than anything, I hope we've sparked your curiosity. So if you're feeling that itch to learn more, dive in. Check out some DAO projects, join a community online, heck, maybe even start building your own DAO.
It's a constantly changing landscape, and the best way to learn is to jump in and explore.
And on that note, we'll sign off. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know in the comments what other fascinating topics you'd like us to explore. Until next time, happy diving.